All right, let's get this underway. Today, going to be something a little different. I've done kind of channel reviews and things like that in the past. This is going to be some of that, also a business review, and I'm not holding back. I asked for permission beforehand. I've known this person for a few years, and it's going to demonstrate a few points I've been trying to get across to people. And this is my Sunday, my day off, my relaxation time. So it's kind of good for me. It's cathartic, and I learned a lot doing these kind of reviews as well. So initially, I was like, "Look, if I can use your channel and stuff, yeah, I could do one of these." And then I dug into it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is probably the worst I've ever seen." So then I was like, "All right, I'm a little uneasy about this, and but we're going for it today." So hopefully, you guys come along for the ride. So last week we spoke with James, and today we'll be speaking about James's business as well. He followed up, saw the live stream, had some more questions and things like that. And so I'm going to read kind of an email I got, or part of it at least, and then we'll jump into it. So yeah, hopefully hold on to this. So he tuned in the last 5 minutes, he rewatched it and everything, and luckily for me, there's praise in there. I love the way you do business, Corey. You're smart at what you're doing there. Thank you. But then it goes, this year I'm trying to manage my time and figure out exactly what I want to do. I'm not exactly motivated by money. I think I just like to try new things, even if the ROI, which is return on investment, isn't positive or worth my time. Everyone I ask for advice says pick the one thing that makes them happiest. But from what I heard, yours seems to be a little different. My understanding is to focus heavily on one thing while the competition does that same thing will grow slower because they devote less time. Is that correct? Yes. So that's my premise in the workplace right now. Of the last, I noticed this I was 27 at the time. So the past 10 years, I'm 37 now. That has been my, short of you accidentally making the next technology, you accidentally winning the lottery, a lot of these accidental, oops, I created PayPal or Facebook or whatever you want to call it, the dream, I made a company, Google bought it for $2 billion, that kind of stuff. Short of that, the easiest way to get ahead is to outwork your peers. There are so many of my peers at the time, and still are, that, maybe on a Sunday, they're watching the Super Bowl. Maybe they went out, last night and had a good time. I worked, right? I work every day, all day long to get what I have now, and then I try really hard not to lose it. So I do believe that focusing on making money, really, because you don't necessarily have to focus on one thing. You could totally go to work. You could also be going to school. You could also be mowing lawns to make money. And all of those are going to put you forward compared to someone who is maybe just going to work for 40 hours, or maybe they're that person that's, I'd like to leave early. They're, we all know those people at work where, okay, well, we're a little light on work today. Who wants to go home? And their hands up the fastest because they want to get out of there all the time. Well, all of that obviously adds up. We also know the people that will stay for that overtime. And then when the checks roll out, they're crushing everyone, right? So that's kind of that mentality of like, if X amount of your peers are cutting corners where they can, and then there's people who are maximizing where they can, you try to be one of those maximizers in everything you do. So you're getting the most out of it and putting yourself ahead, and over time, that will put you in better situations to make strategic plays. Now, this has happened a lot where it's, for my business, where it's like, oh, what sure was lucky and nice that you were able to, get an investor in your business and it worked out for you. And yes, those are nice things. But someone only invested in me after watching me run a store for 5 years straight and crush it, right? And they could see I was being held back in the potential. That's how I got a business partner, a silent business partner to this day, right? Now he works for me. But is there some luck there? Sure, there's always going to be some luck. There's some luck that I don't, a plane doesn't crash in my building and I die today, right? There's always luck involved, call it what you will, but you can start making better luck. Just like if you go to a casino, there's different odds, right? And maybe the game you're playing right now has pretty poor odds. You can keep playing and accumulating mass until you can sit at a different table where, okay, the odds I've got a 60% chance of winning versus I only had a 30% before. And you can keep doing that until, now at a business point, we can invest in something and we'll have enough money and influence over people that we can push ourselves into, this is like 80 or 90% chance is going to work. And that, you start going to Apple and Tesla and Facebook and Google, they're like 99% chance. I mean, you could always do a Google Plus thing where we're going to make a social media platform and no one likes it. There's always that. But for the most part of things like Google touches, they touch a lot of things. Most of them work. Most of them become profitable. They might not all be giant tech pieces, but they do well. All right, so continuing on in the email. Recently with Challenge the Wild, that is the name of his YouTube channel, and well, I would have said business, but I was wrong there. He actually doesn't have a business name that. So I've been posting once a week, and I feel like I'm in the passenger seat. It might be the fact that results are disappointing, or the fact that I used to jump in front of a camera with horrible quality and no helpful information, and yet receive 20,000 views. Yeah. Your insight would be much appreciated. All right, so this is where the review starts of, my thing used to work, now it doesn't work, it sucks, right? And so I watched this story play out from the beginning. Who's this kid? Why is he successful? I don't think he'll be successful long term, to now here I am talking about him in a live stream 3 years later, and the success isn't where he wants to be. To me, it was as clear as day this wasn't going to work. Like, all the signs were just there of like, yeah, this isn't sustainable. There's no way it's going to work. And then to see it not work, one, is a reassuring feeling to me, which I don't like seeing the demise of other people's income or anything like that. But the fact that what I knew to be true turned out to be true, this allows me to make sure that I'm kind of calibrated correctly of like, that doesn't seem sustainable. All right, it wasn't sustainable. I'm glad that's a true statement. So therefore, what I know to be true is true. All right, let me get set up here. We're gonna go all across the internet here. And I will start by, whenever we start going all across the internet, there could be things we didn't intend to show or things like that. So just know that, we'll be going on Instagram today. We'll be going on his personal website. We'll be going to YouTube channel. So if any of that could be, maybe I can't control what shows up on those all the time, right? And recommended feeds, that kind of stuff. So just know that we're here to focus on the business. Whatever else happens, we'll get there. All right. We're going to click on my website view. Here we are. Challenge the Wild. All right. We're going to click on his YouTube channel. He's got 67.8 thousand subscribers. Now, the history here, and we can see there, well, you can't, there we go. You can see some tools. This is some tools I use. This shows our channel. This TubeBuddy tool just always shows your own channel. And then versus, right? Versus the channel you're on. Well, it's very helpful just to look in, because I can see here that his channel is suffering. It's got 43,000 views. Now, I know this because I know his history, and we can go to Social Blade and we can look at this. So here we are on Social Blade, and we can see that, basically every week he might gain 100 and then none and none. So he gained none for a long time, lost 100, gained 100, lost 100. His audience is very volatile right now. So if we look into history, because I'm trying to catch, I'm trying to catch everyone up here, so that if you don't know the story of Challenge the Wild, you can follow along the path. All right, so here we have it back in 2018. Let's say this thing is saying in January 2018, right? He had 409,000 video views just that month. So 10x what he has this month, right? And at his peak, he was over 500,000. So that 10x mark, he was gaining tons of subscribers, 3,000, 2,000, 2,800, 6,000, right? And he is correct that seemingly he would jump in front of a camera, say just about anything. He could be like, hey, water bottles are awesome. And he would get 20,000 plus views. And we can see that here. So we're going to hop back over to the channel, right? And we're going to watch that play out. So we go to videos, and we're going to sort by the oldest videos. These are the oldest videos, right? His first video he made 436,000 views 3 years ago. And then he made a very dimly lit heater video, right? 37K, 21K, 15K, 910K, 9K, 31K, 32K, right? So we have all these big numbers, 53K, 517K. At that point, he's pretty much a golden goose. Anything he touches is a golden egg, right? I also want to preface this by, yes, I know he was young and is still young. I think he's 19 currently. And so take all this criticism with a grain of salt. That being said, if I was a talent manager or something like that, you would be harping on all these same things of like, if what you want is this, here's what we're going to have to do to get there. And this is one of those asking for help. It's not, I don't go to people who aren't asking and offer unsolicited advice. Yeah. So here we are. He's clearly doing really well for a long time. And from this point, he started to expand and open an online store and things like that. So if we look at today's numbers, so that way we've got a point of reference, right? So let me look at, let's say, the last couple of months here. On average, a video is 1 to 2K, which is obviously substantially lower than the 10K minimum he was getting, right? And so what happened? That's the question here, is he's wondering what has happened. Could it be that the algorithm doesn't like him anymore? Yes, I don't believe that, but yes. Could it be that his audience has changed? Yes. Could it be that he's not devoting the same time? Maybe, right? We're gonna figure it out. In general, whenever someone says the algorithm doesn't like me now, that's really just code that they don't understand for my audience doesn't like what I'm doing anymore. The algorithm does not care about your content at all. It only cares about the people that did watch your content. Did they like it or didn't they like it? Did they watch more? What'd they do? Did they leave the platform? Did they give it a thumbs down? Did they watch someone else's video? What signals did you send the algorithm? That's what it cares about. It does, and so people do that, not the algorithm. The algorithm doesn't go, I don't like Challenge the Wild. People are doing that. So they're going, I don't like what he's doing now, or he used to do this, or I no longer do this. Any of those reasons would lead to something like this. All right. So from what I can surmise here, and I've done my own cursory research, but in this video, let's see, where'd it go? It was, you basically redid your fish room. Why? It was like 2 months ago. Why can I not find it on the fly right now? I've been having this weird bug on YouTube right here. The new fish room reveal. In this video, you say you're going to upload 3 times a week. So this is literally 2 months ago. From that point, it does not appear you're uploading Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, right? Because we would have more videos like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. This is more like 1 a week. So even with like the I'm back, guys, we did the classic blunder of like I'm back and I'm stronger than ever. And then you go straight to like, except no, it's back to normal, right? So we've got that classic blunder under our belt, which we tend to do as social media people. I'm back and I'm better. So then let's look at why the algorithm might not like you here. And we'll get to, well, do we want to start with why the algorithm might not like him, or let's not even do that, because I've done that too many times where I'm going to show you all the things you're doing wrong in YouTube. That's not applicable to everyone. Instead, let's do more of a case study here. All right, so some information we're going to need. Let's start tracking. We have to start here. Here's where we have to start. Let's track all of the things that James Moreland, that's his name there, at James Moreland, is currently doing. Right? So we're going to pull up the old notepad here, right? I'm going to make a list of everything we know he's doing. So I know he has a job. I assume full-time, but I don't know that. So we'll assume maybe it's part-time, right? So he has work. All right? I believe he's going to school from digging into his Instagram. Maybe he's not currently going to school. Maybe COVID has postponed that, but there may be some kind of school as well. So we already have a prior obligation. You kind of consider that the rock, right? So that is an immovable object, you kind of have to do it, or it's important enough. And you could put in family time there too. All of that. Maybe you have kids. Maybe you're married. Maybe you got to go to school to better yourself. Maybe you got to go to work because your business is not big enough to support you and your family, right? So you have that. That's there. All right. Then he's got the Challenge the Wild YouTube channel, right? So we got YouTube. Now let's start digging in to see what else is he spending his time on. Someone says algorithms are causing people to lose viewers. That's common sense. That's false. It's just false. I mean, you could also say that like phones are. Well, they watch YouTube on phones. Therefore, phones are the leading cause of losing a subscriber. They click the button there. The reality is, if you're looking at a metric and it says, on average, people aren't watching this, and it tracks that. So if only 10 people watch a video and 8 out of 10 don't enjoy the video, it just learns not to do that. It's no different in business. If I have someone at my retail store and they serve 10 customers and 8 out of 10 leave a complaint, do you think I keep hiring them and going, hey, yeah, let's put you back on the floor. Let's make you make more people angry? Or do I shift and go, look at this employee right over here who makes 8 out of 10 people happy, right? That's what the algorithm does. It's not that the boss is losing customers, me being the boss choosing what video to watch. No. It's the person or the video or, something's judging it. The feedback is bad. You pivot. That's what happens with YouTube also. All right, so let's get in here. So right off the get-go, we know that we've got a Snapchat and a wild pet supply. So we've got Snapchat, and we've got his website. That's Wild Pet Supply, right? Let's dig back in here some more. If we go into here, we've got Teespring. That's what this is right here. So we have a Teespring account. Another way to make money. Okay. Let's look at the description. All right. So we've got Instagram. All right. We've got TikTok. All right. We've got Snapchat. We have Twitter. Okay. And another channel, TJ Effect. All right. Now, if we go back here, let me get back to the main channel. I go to the home page. We can see the other things he's got going on. So he's got the James Moreland channel. We click on that, right? And we know that it's active because we can see, well, 1 month ago he posted, but 5 days ago, 4 weeks ago, right? So this is more of a vloggy channel, 5,000 subscribers, getting roughly the same amount of views on some of the videos that his other channel is getting, right? So we have the James Moreland YouTube channel or vlog channel. All right, what else do we have? We've got the Gym Motion, TJM Tech, and TJM Unboxing. All right. I gotta pause this video. It's driving me nuts. All right. So the Gym Motion channel, TJM Unbox, and TJM Tech. Now let's do some checking here and just look in some of these. 3 months ago, I would say that's still in the relevant-ish category, in that this is still, it's within, at least within the quarter, right? So some time is being spent here. Yeah, I'm not going to go through every one of these, but that, I think, let's go back to the main channel. Back on, let's go to home. Is that where we're at? Yeah. All right, so now we've got more ways, more links, more things going on. I also know that he has a Patreon account where you got to put out content, you get supported, right? We also have this join button for memberships. So YouTube membership, that's another thing you have to create content for and be active with, right? Let's see here. We have his shop. We knew about that. What is this? This is his vlog channel, Patreon. This is like a famous birthday thing, which I'm going to click on it. I saw it once, but I'm not sure that it's 100% safe. Yeah, so this is like kind of a bio thing and all of that. Every time someone clicks on this, by the way, you're just making the algorithm angry, your boss, right? So this is no different than you're in my retail store, you're working, and you go, hey, have you checked out this store right down the road? You should go spend all of your money on this clothing store instead of at our store. That's basically what you're telling your boss at the moment. Because none of this, while, you know, it'll show you or show people who you are, right? This doesn't actually help you, and it's hurting the algorithm. So it's one more way to make the algorithm not happy with you. But another thing you got to manage too, right? It's another little social media platform. And we've got Twitter. Okay, so I think we've got most. And I say think because I know it's not, right? So let's start diving into some of what we might see going on here, right? So these are all the things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. There's 15 things at the minimum right there that you got to divide your time over. Now, let's go to his shop, because I know his shop links to some more stuff. And we're breaking some cardinal rules here. And I'll get to why we're breaking these rules. But here we can see we have a link to a YouTube channel, right? I am going to assume this is his main Challenge of the Wild channel. But if we scroll to the bottom, we can see that we actually have more social media links, right? So we're going to click on Facebook. In fact, I'm going to click on Facebook without having this up just to make sure that nothing sensitive comes up, or if I have to log in, I don't want to show any of that. So give me 1 second. I'm going to click that. We'll click Facebook. All right, we're good. I think we're good. Go back here. All right. So here's his website, or here's his Facebook, which we didn't have that on here yet. So let's go to Facebook. What I want to show is, here is something from January 26th. This is like 2 weeks ago, or 10 days ago, whatever it is. And the people are saying this is a scam, fake reviews on there, this website's a scam. And I was like, what is going on? Like, this is this person's business Facebook. Before that, they hadn't posted since June 2nd, right? And so you click on this thing again, don't know really what's in the link. I'm gonna close my Facebook so that way messages don't pop up. But you've got, like, this is a whole nother, like, I don't know, social media type platform to manage. Like, it clearly has tech videos and, advertisements here and, coupon for its website maybe and things, right? There's just things here. But it's obviously giving off the perception that it's a scam website, because the only comments that were there were, this is a scam, this is a scam, this is a scam, right? But again, this jolt.la is something to manage, whether things are feeding into it, right? Let's click on this thing and see what happens. Yeah, it looks like it's more of a, what do I want to call it? Like a Medium type site, like a Medium blog, that type of stuff. And probably this links, my guess would be somehow this funnels back into Amazon affiliate links or something like that, right? Being a tech reviewer, those types of things. But one more thing. So jolt.la, where people are thinking it's scammy. So we're going to add that. Because obviously, time is being spent to create this stuff, right? February 3rd, February 4th, right? I don't know if that's him, but this one is, at least for sure. This one's February 5th, right? This is him, right? 3 years later. So, got all that going on. Let's see, back to his website, which I gotta pull up again. So we're gonna close that, scroll back down. Now we're gonna click on Instagram. So, what's to note right here? This is the Wild Pet Supply Instagram. It's got 3 followers, that's it. And nothing else going on. But I know, well, let's see here. Challenge the Wild. Challenge the Wild YT, I think, is his, right? So we have Challenge the Wild YT. This is James, right? So this is one of them. So we've got some fish stuff, and this was posted within the last, month-ish. So we have Instagram number 2 right here. So it's actually like, okay, when we go to Instagram, how many Instagram accounts do we have? So far we've got, it says 11, but I know there's more than 2, so we're gonna go to 2, right? So we go to 2. I know that if we go and we search, well, I know if we go to his website, I think, oh, it's not here. We got to go to his latest video. And we're going to click more here. And we're going to find his Instagram. Where is it? Right here, #1 link. All right. We click here. Here's the James Moreland Instagram that he's linking on his Challenge the Wild. So on the Challenge the Wild channel, we're linking to the personal James Moreland Instagram, right? So that's at least 3 Instagrams so far. That makes 3, right? And what I would say here is this is completely off-brand, right? From this person right here, who I'm a fish tank guy. Most of my popular videos, I was younger. I care about aquariums, right? We click over. Now it's glamour shots, right? And I could do the same thing. I could have Jimmy. We could, I could dress. I could dress not in what I'm wearing on a Sunday and being a slob like I am. You dress up. You do these Instagram shots, right? And that's its own Instagram style. And it is working, by the way. So when you click on some, like I think I was looking at this one with the toilet paper because I was like, that's a clever shot. I wonder, I was actually thinking, did he invent that? I'm like, no one invents anything on Instagram anymore. So I'm sure someone else did it. That being said, if you invented it, kudos to you, right? When you click in, when you start reading comments, there's lots of people that want to collab, like different clothing styles, that kind of stuff. Like there's lots of clothing brands and everything that wants to collab with him. So I could see the lure of that, right? I can see I'd get free stuff. Maybe this leads to a paid thing. And even with only 5,000 followers here, the quality of picture that's being posted is attracting the companies he might want to work with. That being said, completely off-brand to be pushing. Let's take the context here. Like, let's go to videos, and you have a DIY aquarium storage thing where it's going to be very cheap and like we're going to spend a few dollars. And then the top link in the description is this Instagram that sends them to, I know there's pictures of him like in front of cars and bikes and that kind of stuff. And it's just completely the opposite vibe, right? Here he is in front of a Mercedes, that kind of stuff. It's completely the opposite vibe of what he's doing there. So I think the next step we need to look at here is we come back. And I know there's other stuff too, but this is where we're at for now. This is how many things that's going on in James' world, right? Now, and let's remember back to probably 10, 15 minutes ago when I said, let's focus on one thing and outcompete people, right? By the way, I do want to, I should show off, what was it, TikTok? When you click on his TikTok, he's actually got some amazing content. I assumed he was just resharing some content. He was actually making really good content there. And so James, I do believe, is talented and has a knack for this. So right here, he's got 82K followers on TikTok. And I assume this is all reblogged, but this is like his buddy or someone, right? I don't know if he's paying him. I don't know the back end here, but he's doing all this stuff with, I think this is a Halo character, right? But he's doing all of this stuff, and it's getting pretty good reviews. And this content is very share-worthy and that kind of stuff. So here's what I'm trying to say, though. This kind of content takes time. Let's say for a best-case scenario, they shot all of these videos in one day, right? And they continually share them. It still takes lots of time to think up the ideas. Like, okay, next shot, let's have you mowing the lawn. Next shot, we'll play the game Sorry. Next shot, we'll have you with an apron. Next shot, we'll have you driving, right? Next shot, next shot, next shot. This is all work. 910,000 reviews, right? Or not reviews, but views. So lots of work went into this. So we know that he's got creative energy. We know he's got success under his belt. He's tasted it multiple times at this point. I believe that a lot of people need to channel. You just got to channel that energy into the right stuff, right? So next I want to talk about time, because that's what he asked about. He said, how do I manage my time better, right? How do I do this? All right. So the first thing is work, school, and family. I don't know the ratio. For all I know, he works 40 hours a week. He goes to school 20 hours a week. And I assume he doesn't have kids and a wife yet. I don't know that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a baseline that every person on the planet pretty much has about a 40-hour commitment before, like I don't, as in my work is my business, so I don't have to kind of do that side hustle on top of the work where most people start there. I did start there, by the way. I used to work in the pet store, and then I would sell stuff online, fish and things like that, as my side hustle, right? But we're going to assume that everyone's got 40 hours, basically, 40 hours a week. It has to be work or school, one of those two things, right? And maybe, okay, yeah, it's school, but then you got some family time, or maybe you have to bum a ride, whatever it is. That's basically 40 hours a week is probably in your block of time, unless you're like me and you've gone, completely mad and, 110% into something. You got 40 hours right there, right? All right, so 40 hours. But let's first figure out how many hours are even in a week, right? So if we're going to work 40 hours a week, how many hours are in a week? 24 times 7, right? 168 hours. So we're going to put that at the top. 168 hours possible in a week, right? By the way, this is very Devin Nash. If you haven't watched Devin Nash, he's very analytical in the Twitch platform scene, social media scene. And I really like the way he does kind of live streams and presents information like this, because you can fast forward in the video and you can catch up, you can rewind, and things are written down. You don't have to see exactly where we are in the video. So 168 hours right there, right? That's how many possible hours are in the week. Now, I don't care who you are, you're going to spend 8 hours a day not working. Now, you can go, I only sleep 4 hours. You still have to eat. You got to shower. You have things that are going to come up. I could be sitting here right now attempting to work, but because I didn't sleep enough, I'm working at a slower pace. So you basically lose 8 hours every day to rest, sleep, all that kind of stuff, right? And so if we look at sleep and rest, right, at 8 hours a day, what is that, 72 hours, something like that? Let me see. 8 hours times 7, 56. That's way off. Horrible at math on the fly, apparently. 56 hours a week, right? So what do we have left, right? If we figure there's 168 hours, and we got to sleep 56 of those, right? Or rest, actively not do our best work, right? We're gonna be left for what? 112? No. Yes? Yes, I think so. I'm gonna do it right here. Why do it in my head when I have a calculator on screen even? 112 hours. All right. So that is now our baseline. Every human pretty much has 112 hours per week. Then you get to split that up. And that's going to include playing video games, going out, work, everything besides sleeping. That's what we have left, right? That's what we have left. So this is where you can kind of call BS when someone's like, I'm working 150 hours a week. Like, no, you're not, right? And even when I say, oh, I work, at least 100 hours a week, I actually really do push that most times because I don't get enough sleep, and I actively try not to, by the way. So when I am getting those really long hours, my productivity suffers. So I can usually get done like 90 hours of intense work usually equals the same as 110 or 120 hours of work because it's not intense work, right? So now we've got our work, school, or family, right? That's the next thing we've got up. So what is that going to leave us with? If we divide that or we take that out, we're now left with, what is that going to be, 72 hours? And this is for business, social media, fun, right? So I believe that these are the hours in which you can actually get ahead of a competitor, right? Or make your way in a space, any of that. So whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on, doesn't matter what it is, what your thing is, becoming a Girl Scout, a Boy Scout, camping master, learning to play tennis, doesn't matter what you're trying to do. This is how many hours you have left per week to do it. That leaves you with about 10 a day, right? So 10 hours a day. There's those other 2 hours, but unless you're like me and you've doubled down so hard that your work commute is from my bed 26 steps or something stupid to my studio, right? Usually you're gonna have some travel time, and the more different things you do, the more travel time you have, right? So I've eliminated everything in an attempt to maximize my time, because that's the only limiting factor, right? All right. So now we have 10 hours a day or 72 hours a week, right? That we've established. Now, you could argue this to blue in the face and go, well, it's actually 11, it's actually 12. Well, my week, sure, right? Take the numbers you need to take if that's what you need to do, but for the sake of example here, I think this is working out pretty good. So we've got 72 hours, and we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We have 18 things, right? So if we have 72 hours and we have 18 projects, and those are just the ones I've seen, right? Oh, because there's another YouTube channel like TJM Ants. So it's an ant channel, right? So on average right now, if we were to have the schedule, we have about 4 hours for each of these passion projects, right? We're at 4 hours. That is essentially nothing. What I mean by that is, that's the same amount of time I work out each week. And we see how well that's going. Like, I am getting more in shape, but it's a very slow grind, right? So what we need to do, though, is go, all right, so 4 out of 72 hours is what we're spending on each of these. Do we think that, you know, if we go back to YouTube, let's say, right? Here we are on YouTube. Now let's examine, do we think he's spending more than 4 hours or less than 4 hours on this stuff? I would say less than 4 hours, and here's why, right? So when we look at the description, or the timeline here, we can see that he spent some time actually labeling stuff. That's a good sign. That usually requires time. So we have an intro. We have useful idea number 1. All right, what's the next section? Useful idea number 1. Okay. Problem number 1. Problem number 2. Problem number 3. My thoughts and my setup. So I think repeating useful idea number 1 twice is not good for anyone. And then I also know that these are what clues YouTube into what your video is about. So you've spent time over here, we can see tons of tags, you know, DIY aquarium, planet aquarium, huge aquarium, aquarium filter, waterfall aquarium, all of that, right? And then over here, when YouTube actually is going, oh, what's this video about? Well, it's about useful idea number 1, twice. It's about problem number 1, problem number 2, problem number 3, and my thoughts. So we've actually directed YouTube that this thing is about nothing, right? So the time's not being spent there, and this is how I know it. If you spent time and you analyze this, you wouldn't go, yeah, here's the thing. Let's do useful idea number 1 twice. That's the move. That's the move right there. Let's make it so plain Jane that I can apply this to any video I ever make. That's not spending the time, right? And so I also know the time's not being spent because at the end, we're linking to everywhere. Here's vlog channel stuff, my vlog, here's a video, here's the subscribe button. None of this is tailored to this content. If you're watching a DIY video, it's highly unlikely that you necessarily need to watch a TikTok react video or your wisdom teeth being removed and funny clips. That doesn't mean that no one would ever click those. It just means if you're trying to maximize it, you would try to be on brand and go, well, you've done lots of DIY stuff on your channel. Why not show them more of that and test, right? You need to test and go back and test. And we can also see that, I want to say it's like maybe in this one here. Yeah, so just 2 videos ago, there was no, there's no timestamps anymore, right? There's no pinned comment, right? So that's a couple misses right there. So that's what shows me time's not being spent. We're not critically analyzing what we're doing here. And if you go on a lot of these a lot of these videos, a lot of the other channels, a lot of that stuff, everything is rushed, showing that this is not kind of the priority. So how do we do better, right? We need to start a funnel of like what is important here. You know, the TikTok, like this one, that was doing really well. It has nothing to do with pets, but it was doing really well, right? I didn't evaluate Snapchat. I don't have an account. That's my bad. So I can't evaluate. That could be huge for all I know. So, you know, if that is the case, everything that will be said after this will be not 100% relevant, but you could still apply it to that, right? Having 3, well, I know it's at least 4 Instagram channels. All you're doing is splitting up people, right? So I don't think we put more time there. Twitter is under a lot of heat right now. When I went to Twitter, it wasn't very large and like it hadn't been posted on in over a year, right? So I think what we have to do is we have to boil this down into what makes sense. Now, in your email, you like to do things even without a positive ROI. That's fine and all, but how many things can you do per week without a positive ROI and still lead the life you want to live, right? So I think most people focus on money. And the reason being is I think if you had a choice to do some of these social media things and you didn't have to go to work, you would choose that choice. I think most people would, of like, so I can do what I want to do on my time schedule and be financially solvent. Most people will choose that. There's stress that comes along with that and that kind of stuff too, but most people I think would choose that. So I believe that making money has to be the top of a pyramid. All right, so we're gonna go way down here, a whole new kind of break line here, and we're gonna make what I believe should be your business kind of pyramid. I don't know if this is a term or anything, it's something I'm making up, but at the top of the pyramid, it should be whatever it is you think is gonna make you the most money. Is that a YouTube career? Is that a TikTok career? Is that an Instagram sponsorship deal career? Is it your website? I think at the moment, what I like about a website or your own kind of thing going on outside of social media is that can always adapt. So let's say you're huge on Vine, right? If we remember social media platforms, Vine was huge. If you were pushing everyone to a website and they were buying stuff, when Vine dies, you can switch platform and you still have the website where you're selling stuff, right? But if you're all about Vine and Vine sponsorships, when Vine dies and you then jump over to a new platform, you might not be able to bring all the sponsors and the revenue with you right away. You're gonna have that ramp up time, right? But if people were going to your website and buying stuff from you, when they need stuff again, hopefully they would buy again, and that will help make that transition. So I believe some external source of income is the best from a platform. So whether that's Amazon affiliate links, any other program like that, your own website. For you personally, I think that your website is that. You already have it built, right? So I think the website is the top of your pyramid. Push everything there. So you've got, basically 15 different things you've got going on in your life. Everything should lead back to a central point. You can put whatever you want at that top, but I really think it should be the website. Now, you go down one, right? So what's the next thing that should funnel there? Because you kind of want to know where you're going, because I've analyzed your social media platforms, and like your main YouTube channel goes to your blog channel might go to your ant channel, the ant channel might go to the tech channel might go to the vlog channel goes back to the pet channel. Like, it's all jumbled up. You're just sending users in this weird thing, and because you have so many things going on, I think you've got the boy that cried wolf syndrome. Hey guys, I've got a new thing that's going on. I know that I launched 8 new things last week, but this is the one I'm going to stick to, and I'm going to upload, and then 2 weeks later you're not uploading, but hey guys, this is the new thing. And then you're like, ooh, this is a great video for that old channel. I'll go upload there. And so I think you've got so many strings pulling at people that they're doing none of it. Like, you're paralyzing with choice and with action of not following through, in my opinion. So I believe you need to have a YouTube channel, or possibly your TikTok, because I do think YouTube has a much better long-term history. I think it's better for business than TikTok is. Not that money is not being made on TikTok. Tons of money is being made on TikTok. However, will that continue? YouTube is putting in a lot of features to compete with TikTok, right? So we just don't know. I'm obviously partial to it. You've already had some success. If you had never had success on YouTube, I 100% would put TikTok here because you already have a working formula there. You're getting some success. It's a bigger channel than what you have, right? But I personally am not as familiar with it, so I don't know ad split or revenue split. Plus, you already have membership on YouTube. You have Patreon. You have all these things, right? So that's a good point. Patreon and memberships are other ways to make money, but I would put this as, that kind of in the same category. Patreon, I think you're gonna have to condense down some of these. I don't know what you're getting on Patreon. It could be $10 million a month, it could be $4, but you need to develop time for it. So I don't know where to put that in this list, but I would say YouTube and membership, everything else should funnel to YouTube and then to the website, right? You could always funnel straight to the website if you want. That's never a bad thing. It's never a bad thing to jump to the top, but you should have a hierarchy, right? And so maybe if you're really passionate about, let's say you've got a passion project. Let's say this is income, these two things, and then you've got your passion project. Put your passion project here. That's this business channel for me. I don't make any money. I mean, I'm okay, that's not true. I made $11, I think, this month, right? So $11. But it's a fun thing that I like to do that I would do while not live streaming anyway with someone. I would just, I was talking through email with you about this kind of stuff, and I was shooting the videos myself without sharing. All right. So yeah, someone in the comments says, I don't think everyone has accounts for all these platforms as well. They may drop off and stop funneling to other accounts without eventually getting into the website. Yes, there is. So there is some truth to that. Pretty much everyone on the planet, and I know this is an overgeneralization, has Facebook and YouTube. Now, go to different countries, that can change a little bit, but for platform adoption, YouTube and Facebook are dominating. You might go, well, my grandma doesn't have those accounts. Like, well, sure. But do they have TikTok, Snapchat, Twitter, and some of the other ones either? Like, probably not. So you go with, social media is a double-edged sword of if you lead people from a website to social media, you're taking money away. That's something I never recommend, by the way. When you go to our website, when you're on our website, it does not say like, check out our YouTube, check out our Facebook, check out this. You've already made it to the top of the funnel. The top of the funnel is you're in our retail store or you're on our online store. You're now ready to spend money that supports all the efforts we're gonna do. So everything else we do is how do we slowly get you there? Not every video is not like, hey, spend money with us. Instead, it's let's keep providing you value. Maybe we're entertaining you, maybe we're teaching you, something like that. And over time, oh, they do have a store. Oh, he did mention the store. Oh, he does. He makes that product. Oh, there's this, right? And so once we get them there, though, we want to keep them there. So you got your passion project. That's not how you spell passion. Anyway, passion project. You've got that, right? Everything else is do you have time for? And I'm not even sure, I am of the camp that people don't have time for passion projects because I believe the fact that we can run a business, right? We can run a business from our cell phones now, right? So what does that mean? That means I have closed I don't want to say the amount, but very big deals while waiting for a table at a restaurant. I can say this, in fact. I was the speaker at a club, and while we were waiting for our food, I got a call that I had to take. It was actually from an affiliate deal, right? This affiliate deal, at the time, I spent about 10 minutes outside, and I would not agree to their terms. Like, I was like, look, for what I can bring to the table for you, this is what I want. And they thought I was insane. They thought I was insane. I go, I would never do it for a penny less than that. They try some other people, blah, 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 not getting results, right? And then like 3 or 4 months later, they come back to me. Now we are crushing it. And there's no doubt anymore, but I knew my worth, right? But I was able to start negotiating that while waiting. Most people are just, without a cell phone, you just be sitting there, you're talking. That's good too, right? Mingle with fans and all that, right? But the fact that I can do that in 10 minutes while waiting for dinner means that every 10 minutes you're not spending, your competitor, if I'm your competitor, could be working the next deal, the next thing going on. And so that's where it's like, ooh, even right now with this passion project of mine of like talking about business, could this further me in my business? 100% yes. There's no doubt about that in my mind. However, I am making an active effort to work less, which most people probably shouldn't make active efforts to work less unless they're getting towards a point of burnout, financially secure, a lot of things, right? So I'm actively trying not to. Anyway, back to this. So let's take a look. We got the website. That takes time. Managing inventory. You're going to have to ship things, right? Because you probably don't have, you probably don't have too many employees. Because I think you're only shipping like twice a week or something like that. But let's say 1 day a week. I have no way to know how long this would take you right now because I have no idea of your scale. But let's say 1 day a week should be dedicated. So if we look at this again, we go up here, we've got 10 hours a day. So you can spend 10 hours a day, and that might mean you're writing a newsletter for your website. That might mean you're working on getting a new product. That might mean you're buying more inventory. It might be you're sending out the products. It might mean you're fixing the website, which, by the way, there's a lot of things to optimize on your website. That is a completely different conversation, but tons of room to improve there. I'll say that. I know what platform you're on, and I've analyzed it myself, and not that I know everything. I just see a lot of easy, quick wins. So if you're 10 hours here, right? So you've got 10 hours there, then you are left, and this is always gonna be a growing thing, by the way. So you've got 10 hours, 1 day a week, you got 72 hours total. The more successful you are with the funnel leading to that business, the more time it's gonna take. It might take 10 hours now, but in a year it might take 30 hours or 40 hours, right? And so you're gonna get in this weird bind where so many orders and things like that are coming in that you don't have time to keep signing customers up anymore with the funnels, right? So that's something you're gonna have to manage, and we've done it. And I'll kind of, after this funnel, I'll show you, I'll show you our funnel basically. As for passion projects, they allow your mind to rest from main projects when rest is at a premium. That is very true if they're true passion projects. So I find it hard to believe that 17 different things are all passion projects and more like 1 or 2 maybe. And the other ones are, if this takes off, I'll make money. Most people can't discern between, would I actually do this with money being no object, or is there that if this does take off, it's so lucrative and I don't mind doing it? That's really, people have a hard time because they haven't been, most people don't get to the situation where, like I'm in this situation where my time is very valuable because there's a lot of employees under me. There's people that would be willing to pay me a lot of money for my time, that going out to lunch and not working, right? No amount of money basically justifies it, right? So if someone's willing to buy my time at $500 an hour and I go to lunch, I'm choosing to not work instead of make $500. Or I do a business decision that maybe tens of thousands of dollars, right? When you get to that, then you can know, like, I am going to choose to have lunch with my wife because I value my personal relationship. This has nothing to do with money. Same with this business channel right here. It has nothing to do with money. Pure passion project. If I got to travel the world and talk to other business people, yeah, would I learn a tip or two? For sure. But is this going to be my main mode to outperform what we've built on the other parts of the funnel? It would be nearly impossible in my lifetime to outcompete this. Like, we've hit the lotto already. So yes, do know that you really got to be sure that this is just a passion project, like, or is this a long-term, like, if that took off, that'd be great type of project. All right, so back to YouTube channel. So YouTube channel, I can say that, if we're looking at YouTube or TikTok or whatever platform, you have leaders in the industry and you have newcomers to the industry and everything in between, right? So when you're new to the hub or new to the scene, maybe you make a video, it took an hour and it's a hit. Like, that's right, my wife is my passion project. Uh, you know, so you spend an hour and you got some success. That's great. But then you got to repeat that success, right? And so I know on YouTube, there are people that might invest 500 plus hours per video, right? Our internal structure, when we do videos, we're more around the 20 to 30 hour mark. We spend 20 to 30 hours per video. And I can give an example of this because I know when people say numbers like that, if you don't understand, you would think that can't be true. That seems insane. Like, but you know, if I can pull up, I guess I'll just do it right here. I pull up our latest video, right? So one, I had to come up with the concept. Let's say that takes 10 minutes. Let's just say that, right? Then I had to come up with all the fish that I had listed in this video, which that took, you know, maybe another 20 minutes. So we're up to 25 minutes, 30 minutes, right? I have to physically film it, and I did that here with a green screen. In fact, this is what's behind me right here. I can pull down a green screen and make stuff happen, right? Because I never want to spend time driving somewhere, filming locations, that kind of stuff. So I cut out that time. It takes maybe another 20 minutes to make sure, like, okay, do I got any boogers, right? How's the zit on my forehead looking? I got to film anyway because you can see it on there. And so now we're at 50 minutes. And you're like, that doesn't seem so bad at all. That's where this video started. Then we start bringing other people in. Someone has to make the thumbnail, right? That might take an hour, maybe more. Someone has to do the description, right? And we have to figure out what pinned comment are we going to use. Then we have another employee who edits everything, right? So if we look at each one of these, each one's got B-roll. Someone has to go get the B-roll of everything I'm talking about. And it's not just one B-roll. It's going to be multiple angles of B-roll to keep people's attention, right? So you've got this shot, then you've got this shot, then you've got this shot, you got that shot. Those are all different B-roll shots for the span of what? That was 40 seconds, right? And so for 40 seconds of a video, you had to go get 4 different shots. Each one of those takes probably 5-10 minutes at least, right? Then you have to take all that raw footage, you have to edit it down and get it into the video. We shot and rendered out in 4K, so that takes longer processing time. My editor was like, man, this video was brutal. It took a long time. Our average is 20 to 30 hours, so this is probably more like 40 plus hours of time to get one 12-minute video to release, right? So that's when I hear someone say, like, I'm gonna release 3 videos a week. Like, really? Okay. And I always try to convince them, like, why not spend more time working on making one video better? Oh, no, I can do it. I'm like, so you can do what I and a crew of 4 other people can't do. I would love to learn your technique, you know, and every once in a while, you'll meet someone like a Casey Neistat that literally can do it. They're really good at what they're doing. They've really boiled down to what they're doing. They still have an editor help sometimes, right? But every once in a while, you can meet someone like, wow. And I do believe we would be better and we could turn out more videos if I didn't have other parts of the funnel, right? A second YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, a business to run, those types of things. So something like this really can take almost unlimited hours if you wanted to make it perfect, right? Another example, I know someone made a video and it took like 20 hours to make a 5-minute video. On average, if you make videos, you can tell when someone's spending a lot of time or not on a piece of content, because you can just see, like, there's not very many props, there's not, you know, the attention to detail there's not the B-roll there's not all of these things. And so when you look at a platform, right, and you look at, you know, let's assume, and this is assuming is always a bad thing, but let's assume that you had the choice to watch my video or Challenge the Wild video in front of you, right? And you didn't have any outside info. Then you would just purely go by the thumbnail and the title. And maybe there's a 60-40 split. You click on James. He's, you know, physically more attractive, right? He looks younger. Maybe that's in your demographic. There might be a reason to swing 60-40, let's say. But over time, you watch this video and you go, oh, the attention to detail is not there, right? And I can see real easy things, right? So let me find a good example here. Just gotta see it pop up. Of course, it's never gonna pop up. Oh, yeah, right here. Okay, good. If we're watching this intro, I'm gonna mute it, right? He's basically talking about the size of these containers. Big ones, long ones, and then he went to tall ones, right? You saw the attention to details missed. There's no showing you what a tall one looks like. Just something like that right there is an attention to detail thing. Another attention to detail thing, right? This isn't filled up with water, right? And you would say like, that's pretty nitpicky, Corey. You're not listening to the video. He's got music playing in the background to cover up the background audio because the water's splashing over here, right? What else do we have? We have a scraper floating around instead of being affixed, so that's going to cause your eyes to wander, right? All of these little things that could have been improved upon, right? You've got product placement in the background that could have been improved upon, you know, all these little things. So with just the thumbnail title showdown, maybe as much as 50-50, right? But over time, you're going to go, maybe I like the attention to detail. Corey and Co-op put in more than this video. And then when you get presented that again next week, you make a choice, and maybe it was 60-40 us, right? So 60-40 to Aquarium Co-op started out. I'm losing myself, all right? So let's go down here. So at the original, week 1, it goes 60% to James, right? 40% to Corey. They watch the video. We're hoping, or for this example, we're expecting that the attention to detail, perhaps they like the Aquarium Co-op video more. Next week, both videos show up in their home feed, right? Week 2. And now you might get 40%, or let's just do 50% even. 50% James and 50% Corey, right? Week 3, you get that same experience, like maybe not enough attention to detail in the video again. So now it's 40% and 60% Corey. This is how the algorithm works, right? So now you've got all this going on, and week after week, but pretty soon what's going to happen, right? And we could even assume like, oh, they watched both videos week 1, both videos week 2, but week 3, you got to go out to lunch with your wife, right? Your passion project, and you had to make a choice. You only watched the Corey video. Now, James didn't even get the view, right? And over time, that keeps happening. And so week 4, right? Week 4 might be 30% at 30%, and then Corey at 70%, right? And this is going on with, you know, everything. Big YouTubers, our channels, everything, right? Every channel on the platform is all competing for your eyes. Eventually what happens is the algorithm goes, this person's just not clicking on James' video anymore. So now week 5 is it's Corey versus Dude Perfect in the subscription feed. And it's more like Corey at 30% and Dude Perfect at 70%. Right? And so then it starts weaning me off of it because I'm not as good as Dude Perfect. I'm not spending hundreds of hours on that edit and have 50 people working on it and all of that, right? So the only thing you can do in this situation is fight back. Make the videos better. Now, in this scenario, right, if you put out more videos, that doesn't help you, right? So let's say I release once a week, right? So it's Corey once a week, one time a week, and you've got James releasing 3 times a week. Sure, the first battle is Corey versus James, but then James releases again. I'll beat Corey for sure, right? So James releases, except he's not battling me anymore. He's battling Dude Perfect. And he loses there, right? So then he goes, well, all right, I'll release the 3rd video, James, right? And now he's fighting, you know, let's call it PewDiePie, right? And he loses there. So he's losing on all of those. The only way out of this is to go to the one video and make it better and start winning some of these matchups. As you win more matchups, you'll get more eyes. As you get more eyes, you'll get more favor and more chances at bat. Basically, the better you do at your job, the more likely when there's a new challenge, let's try them in this spot, right? And that's what he had going for him when he was new. Came out of the gate, came out hot, gave him more at-bats, took time off, then lost the viewership. Now when he comes back, viewership has changed. Maybe they are watching Dude Perfect. Maybe they are watching PewDiePie. Maybe they are watching Aquarium Co-op. And you're now trying to fight against them. Now, the thing that you got to realize here is he took time off. Is the algorithm punishing him for taking time off? On one hand, you could say yes. On the other hand, let's pretend that we go back up here, right? And if you spend 10 hours every week on your website, and then you take 2 years off. So now you have 520 hours per year you didn't spend on making your website better, right? So that's 10,040 hours you didn't spend. If I spent 10 hours every week, that means I did spend the 10,040 hours making my website better. Usually when you apply time and a reasonable amount of skill, you can make something better. So now, is it that people, Google doesn't like your website, or is it that my website is better? The same thing goes for videos. If you take a year off and you're not making videos and not making it better and figuring out what people want to watch, then you come back and they're not watching, you didn't improve. Everyone else on the platform was improving and learning, right? So we go to YouTube, and I think at the bare minimum for any platform, when I've been in talks with people, and these are people that you would consider to be successful in the space, right? They're making a living off that. Most of them don't spend even 20 hours. They're less than 20 hours a week. Now, what I mean by making a living, there's making a living, and then there's something like we have, where it's a company that supports 30 people, right? So can it support them in their household with one person? Yes. And they're spending less than 20 hours a week. Meanwhile, I continually watch their revenue go down, their views go down. They're basically riding this train out until it just ends. My philosophy is, how do we make sure this train never ends, and how do we make it better? How do we make more money on it? How do we make our money work for us? All of those things, right? So I would guess that James is spending less than 20 hours on his main YouTube channel and his membership content, just from polling lots of creators, working with them, and when they're honest, right? That's the thing is, I spend a lot of time always doing that. And then I have them track their time. And then they'll be like, well, I worked on it 4 days. Sure, you read memes for an hour and a half, then you're on Reddit, then you browse around, you talked about how hard the algorithm is, you did some more things, but how much hours do you actually spend editing and filming and doing research and doing all of that? And it usually comes down to actually less than 20. It's kind of office space. Like on a given day, I might do 30 minutes of actual work. That is too true, unfortunately, for most creators. All right, so you got 20 hours there, right? We got 30 hours of your 72. Now let's say you got a passion project, 1 day a week, right? Let's give you 10 hours. You've got 40 hours there. There's 32 more hours that right now are being split up amongst all of these other things you got going, right? So you got other and 30 hours. I believe you should take these 40 hours and dump it straight into YouTube. And when this website requires more, start peeling off some hours, because the website is your actual money. The YouTube channel, it does make some money, but not nearly in proportion to the website, or shouldn't be. And you should funnel people there. All right, so let's scroll let's just put that down below. The Aquarium Co-op funnel, right? We have our website and retail store. Under that, we have YouTube, channel 1, right? And we put lots of resources. So I also wanted to show a scaling thing. The story goes, we started a retail store, just me, for a year and a half. Then we get a part-time employee. Then eventually it's just me again. Then eventually we go to 2 employees. Eventually we start YouTube, right? And then YouTube is just me working, you know, at the beginning it was me maybe 10 hours a week maybe, right? And then all the rest of my time going to the store. So at that point, you've got me, you know, with I've got 112 available hours. Maybe 100's going to the store because I work there every day, and then 10, 12 hours going towards like taxes and that kind of stuff in YouTube, right? So then you've also, at a certain point, we launched the online store. We have employees, and I'm going to fast forward to today. So that way you know what you're competing with here. Like, of YouTubers and stuff like that, we're a small guy. We're only at 500,000. In the eyes of YouTube, we're small. In the eyes of, you know, most social media, we're small, right? But between the retail store and the website, we have 28 employees, right? And that doesn't include me. So you've got 20 employees working on the YouTube channel. We now are up to myself, right? So Corey, we've got Jimmy, we have Irene, we have Danny. I think that's everyone officially working on it. We also have Dean. He's kind of a guest personality type of thing, but he also thinks up some content. So we have 4.5 people working on that. Then we've got YouTube channel number 2, right? And also don't forget that with this YouTube channel number 1, there is memberships, there's stories, there's shorts, there's the community page, right? There's all of those things. So a lot of time goes into that because we maximize all of it, because if you're not, right, you're not gonna get the benefit. Of the 12,000 subscribers we get every month, 1,000 of them come from stories. So you're missing out if you're not doing that. Shorts is a new thing. Community page, that leads to our website, that leads to more videos, leads to blog articles, right? And so we have YouTube channel number 2. And that is, you know, again, Corey, right? Jimmy, Irene, I said those, and Danny. And we bring in Lizzie to do the community posts there, the stories there, and Danny to do shorts. And Danny also does the shorts on the main channel, right? Because it's basically content we've already made. We're repurposing it. All right. So then we have, you know, we've got Facebook. And Facebook is not a nothing burger, right? We've got 300,000+ people. It's like 370,000 people. We have Lizzie manage that. We have Instagram. We have 93,000 people or whatever, and we have Lizzie manage that, right? We don't do Twitter. We have our blog, which our blog actually gets an insane amount of traffic because we've been working on it for a long time. That's Irene and me. And I have to oversee all of these, but for the most part, I'm proofing work, not so much like helping conceptualize. So I'm proofing a lot of the work. Plus mods who invest their time and effort. I would say yes and no. Like, someone asked about live streams. Live streams do absolutely nothing for a channel. They're actually terrible. They make your channel worse in terms of the algorithm and all of those stats. However, they're usually a source of money for people, and they will build a connection with people. But that all leads back to the funnel, right? And you could live stream without having a chat going at all, right? Like, people will go, what about Candy? Well, Candy's a paid employee that works at the website, also does this. And it works out that if she wasn't to be in live streams, it'll actually make her job harder. Corey said this, that happened, this happened, right? So, you know, yes, but for the live streams, which we do 1 every 2 weeks, right? So proportionally, we could put Candy here. Proportionally, we would also have to add, like, my wife, she'll moderate some comments. There's other moderators for comments, but we also set up filters for that. Candy's real strength, though, is in the customer service department. Like, we didn't break that out, but if we were to break out website, she's in the 28 employees, and she owns that category outright. And it's one of the most important categories for sure, right? But if I had to make a choice of, do I have Candy for customer service or do I have her for YouTube? I would drop her from YouTube in a heartbeat, because that is not nearly as important as the website. Because the funnel, right? The funnel. You're up here at the top of the funnel. Website, retail store. Nothing is higher than that. That is the top. So her work there is much more important than the work down below, right? And there's lots of these people like Jimmy. He also works on website stuff, right? Lizzie also, as a program manager, works on this. So most facets of my business, everyone is involved somewhere else also. This is for display purposes, of like, okay, off the top of my head, how many people are working on this stuff? And so, we're at a point where we're at like 32 employees. So if we take, my time, let's say I'm going to put in 100 hours, or I got 112 hours, and then you've got 30 other employees, right? Let's say 28 other employees. Let's bring that up. 28 times 40, 1,000 plus, let's add my 112. So the total hours every week that Aquarium Co-op is putting in effort is 1,232. Now, when you compare that to James, he's got 112, and this is purely for Aquarium Co-op funnel here, of like these things all funnel back to the retail and website, right? Where not all of these directly funnel back. And so you can see where if James is only spending less than 20 hours a week competing against us on our one YouTube channel, right? So we would have me spending, let's say, 10 hours a week. You've got Jimmy probably spending more like, 30 to 40 hours a week on YouTube. You've got Irene spending probably 5 to 10. Danny probably spending 2 to 3. And Dean and Candy, like Candy's time is, you'd split it up, like maybe it's an hour and a half per week, right? But you add all that up and we're spending, so if it's me at, let's say it's 10, Jimmy at 40, so that's 50, 55. We might be at 60-ish hours, right? Now, if someone puts all of their time and energy, one person puts all their time and energy, they can actually outcompete Aquarium Co-op in that facet, right? They could beat us just on YouTube. Now, where does it get good? It gets good when you take those original 72 hours or whatever you're going to put into it, right? You got 112 hours. You put that in, right, for a long time, and now you're making $3,000 a month, right? You now take that $3,000 and you hire your first employee, right? And, maybe it's I think my first one with Jimmy was very part-time, and it was like per video. I think, and I don't know this is 100%, but it might have been $100 per video or something, right? Because he was still learning. I didn't have it, but I said, hey, when we make more money, I'll pay you more money, right? So at the time, I think we were doing, because I didn't know any better, 2 to 3 videos a week. And so I think his pay was more like $800. This left me with $2,200, right? This allowed me to buy equipment, allowed me to get more fish tanks, allowed me to get more things and start investing more in business, right? But I always reinvested that. Pretty soon, you now do have, so if Jimmy's now putting in, 20 hours a month or 50 hours a month or 5 hours a week, whatever it is, you're now getting above what other people can do. So when you can start hiring people on, and the thing that I know that James at the beginning, maybe not the first video, but soon after, he had, I believe his name was Chase. Chase was doing the editing and the filming. He was a camera guy. He used to have someone that kept him honest, right? Hey, today we got to film. Today we got to do this. We got to get production out. Hey, I can do that while you're doing this, right? All of those things lead to more productivity, getting more things done, and competing on a higher level, right? So that's the problem, is right now you've got a one person and they've got there's 168 hours. That's their week. The best he could do, he could spend 160 hours and never sleep. And at this point, he won't beat Aquarium Co-op's channel because we're spending so many hours on it, or the business, right? So you got to pick where you're going to attack. Maybe you go, I want to be the best TikTok pet business, and you can outwork us. We're not even on there. That's easy, right? So you take your 72 hours that you got for everything in your life, and you apply that to YouTube. You'll be competitive with us. You get that little bit of luck going on there, make some strategic stuff, right? And you can get a YouTube channel going. You make some money. You hire help. Now you might have 150 hours you're competing with versus all the other channels. So many people fail to ever scale past one person. And that's what goes on over time. Over time, when you stay complacent and stagnant in business, other people will adapt, get faster, innovate, move on with technology, all of these things. If you're not doing that with them, that's how you go from being number one, and then, a year later, number two. 2 years later, number three. 5 years later, number seven, right? All of that's going on when all you had to do was stay competitive. And the hardest thing I do right now is I try and unload work. I've got a template that's still very much in the works. I'm going to pull it up here. Let me pull it up. And this will maybe give a little bit of insight to the way I work. And I'm still molding this and stuff like that. All right, so I'm going to bring this up in the future because there's not too many things filled in. Oh, let me back. Not too many things filled in. You're going to see it. It's pretty filled in, but here we go. So this is what a work week looks like for me. Every day, well, let's start it. Every day, basically, from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. is where I'm trying to not work. And I say try because I'm very bad at not working. It means I'm supposed to be watching Netflix, hanging out with my wife, very light work, possibly shopping on Amazon, anything than work. Like if I can do anything like watch a YouTube video that's unrelated, if I can daydream about going camping, anything besides work, if I can pull that off, I'm winning. Most often it doesn't work that way, but I'm trying. Then from 1 a.m. till 9:30 a.m., I'm sleeping. In a perfect world. A lot of times I have trouble sleeping or I don't go to bed that early, or like this week, on Wednesday night, I had a meeting between midnight and 2:30 a.m. with our web development team, right? So this is in a perfect world. Lots of stuff shifts around. Still a template I'm working on. Then from, basically 9:30 to 10:30, that's kind of, all right, you're waking up. Is anything on fire on my phone? Nothing's on fire. All right, let's take a shower. Let's get ready. My wife will make me breakfast. Very thankful for that. That allows me to hop right into work. Then from 10:30 to 11:30, I purely focus on emails and other have to get attention things. That might be the web team was working over the night. It might mean that Irene being in a different time zone, Candy in a different time zone, she'll have gotten up before me because she's an early riser, or they're early risers. They will already have maybe got customer service problems we got to deal with. Maybe they got blog articles for me to proof. All of that happens in that first. I want to get this done early in the day so that if they're waiting on decisions from Corey, their day doesn't hit a stagnant point where I can't move on until I hear from Corey. So I try to get all that out in the beginning. And like on a Monday, we're going to start out, basically after that, I go and I work out, and it is for a long time. So basically at 11:30, I start getting ready. I got to swap into workout clothes, got to make sure I've got a water bottle with me, and I go and I work out from noon till 1:30, right? Then from 1:30, this includes drive time. Most people don't build in drive time, and so this does build in drive time, right? So I'm back. Usually I'll pick up like a sandwich or something. I'm back and I'm ready to work, and emails again at 2, right? So I'm back in the mode of emails. Then, like this week, I would live stream from 2:45 to 5:15. That includes prep time on both sides a little bit. Then I've got available meeting time for people to schedule a meeting with me. Like, oh, one of the 30 employees needs some time. We got to discuss a new project, whatever it is, right? So that's one of the times. Between 7 and 8, that's dinner. Now, you wouldn't know it by looking at me. I realize this. There are often times I do not eat enough in the day because I just work. And the problem is that leads to improper eating. So now it's 10 o'clock at night. I got to eat. I got a few more hours of work I got to do. It's just eat whatever garbage is in front of me instead of taking a dedicated time to spend away from everything, kind of eat, talk to my wife, check in on my dogs. So making another dedicated effort to, basically it's to stop working at 7 p.m. If I work from basically 10 to 7, right? That's kind of a normal work day. Knowing my goal was if I schedule 40 to 50 hours of work, maybe I will be able to stop more at 60 or 70 and bring stress level down, cortisol levels down, that kind of stuff. Between 8 and 9, the goal is answer more emails. If I can answer more emails and clear the deck and everyone is happy, all the questions are answered, that's when I finally have a chance to not work. If I can get through that. Now, a lot of times that might spur, I have to dig into this. If I don't dig into this, tomorrow there's going to be a problem, right? So if everything goes right, I can get that kind of Netflix time, the I'm not working time. Now, a couple days during the week, this is dedicated to creator time. This means making YouTube videos, right? Channel 1, Channel 2, stories, community posts, all of that. And that's 2 big blocks of time. So I spend roughly 14-ish to 20-ish hours a week on that. And that might mean driving to a location. That might mean I got to fly somewhere when I'm flying, all of that. That's just producing content. Not all content's good. Not all of it sees the light of day. So trying to produce. And that might mean, thinking up ideas. All of that kind of stuff goes into that. On Wednesdays, you can see there's a few blocks of time still left and stuff's still going to move around. But again, I work out again, and I do have a personal trainer. I try to make the most out of my time. So I have a personal trainer. I work out intensely for 90 minutes. The goal is to keep my heart rate up and train for Peru and some of the filming things I do. And my heart rate, I think the highest one last week was 189. Like I push myself until I can't go any harder. And then, you got to calm down a little bit, get it down to 150 and keep going, right? Because that's what happens in the jungle is you're overheated, you don't have enough food, don't have enough water, you got to keep going. You can't just be like, well, I'm done for the day and I'm 4 miles out from where we need to go. Or, you got to carry stuff, all of that. Again, another variable meeting time. And then I spend kind of Wednesday afternoon-ish before dinner. Let's look at the videos that have been edited for all the channels. Let's proof stories and shorts, that kind of stuff. Let's look at analytics. What's actually working? That's not working anymore. YouTube live stream, still doing terrible. Great, perfect, right? Analyze that so that I can start thinking about what I'm going to do next week, right? How are we going to change this? How do we pivot? What's going on? What's new? And this also include, new insights into platforms, right? Like, I need to, we need to make some time. I got to plan what we're going to do on Instagram, that kind of stuff. Thursdays, I do a big meeting with Randy at the warehouse. Usually minimum is 2 hours. A lot of times it'll go to 3 or 4. That's where we're talking about new product design, when things are coming in. Is this a good decision? How do we scale the warehouse? All of that kind of stuff. And then there's that meeting afterwards where we usually spill into, but if we don't, I can meet with other people if they want to schedule the time. And then after that, so I have a big meeting with Randy and all of that. There's usually stuff that comes up. I've got an hour to plan. Okay, what do I know at this point is going to get in my way next week? What do I need to plan out, right? Do I need to, we got to make time for this. I got to test this product. We got to make that video. We have to remember to get Jimmy to get a new picture of this because we changed it, right? All of those things go into that planning period. And then we have, after that, so I've got all the things, I've got scheduled out. How do I grow the business? So we've spent all week at this point maintaining what I do. I'm dedicating 2 hours a week of what's the next biggest, greatest thing my company can do to push it forward, right? So we're maintaining all of this, and all these little things are kind of growing a little bit. How do I go, okay, if my competitor's doing that same thing, where's the chance I'm going to take to, let's get another rung on the ladder up on them and just try to put more distance between us. So spend a couple hours critically thinking, and that might be analyzing competitors, might be looking at their stuff, going, I think they're making a wrong decision here. I'm not going to do that. I will do this. That's a really good idea. I don't know how we're going to do that, So all that kind of growing the business stuff, looking at analytics, figuring out what's going on, right? Oh, which you can't see, of course. How dare me. Let me see if I can move myself over here. So yeah, growing the business and all that. And then more creator time. And I've left the weekends blank, but I just know that in a perfect world, I would not work. Yesterday I worked, 10 hours or something. And then this is a passion project, but I already know I did work beforehand to get ready. And then I know I'll do work when I get off of here. But in a perfect world, Saturdays and Sundays, I'm trying to unplug because I do, if I can recharge my brain, other aspects are better. And then I run a 2-week cycle. So we go forward another week here. And the only things that really change is I don't live stream every week because, one, it's not good for the algorithm on YouTube. It's not time in right? Time in versus reward out is not as good as it used to be. I still do them, and I could still do them at any random point. Like maybe I throw one in here. Like they're still on my radar because I still enjoy them. But when I'm hard up for time, right? So that second week on that Monday, that same time, I focus on how do I offload work? Because it's kind of a chicken and the egg. If I have tons more time, I'll live stream. If I don't have enough time, I don't live stream. So I go, all right, what is taking up time? And it could be something as simple as it's time to clean out my email inbox. Like I'm subscribed to too many newsletters. People are signing me up for these things. I got to unsubscribe, declutter. I might have to go, this repetitive task I'm doing, we should outsource this. An employee should do it. I'm not doing it anymore. What makes sense? Oh, these videos don't make sense. We're not doing them anymore. Figure out how do I offload work so that I have more time to grow the business instead of just staying under the gun, so to speak. All right. So yeah, that's kind of the look into my work week, if you will. Now, that changes every week. In a perfect world, it would lay out that way. It doesn't. There's stuff that has to come up, a cargo container's landing, a work issue, but that's the way it's structured, and there's not very much free time there. I'm trying to. My work week before always looked like there was no Saturdays and Sundays, and this is, the best I'm getting. I told myself I'm not going to do any critical work today, so I was like, I'll live stream because that's a passion project, not that. Yeah. All right, let's see. I want to check in my messenger, make sure nothing's on fire at the moment. So people that I talk with, this person said, watching your live stream, but didn't know if I could share this online. But as a small business, how should I be analyzing what competitors are doing? Aside from watching their social media, promotion, products, and periodically looking at their prices, what else should I be looking for? Well, try to notice when they're actually doing the work. Look at the times things are posted. Try to see if they're making smart decisions, right? Every time you go, I'm not doing that, but should I be doing that? Or why are they doing that? You try to analyze, why would they make this choice? Is it a good choice? By spending time doing that, what are they spending time not doing, right? So if you know your competitor is a one-person business and they're spending all their time like, wow, they are just putting out tons of blog articles, they are putting out tons of promotions, they're all over the Facebook groups, they're doing all this, that should tell you they're not doing a lot of their job, right? Like, if you were, let's say you were making wooden chairs. If now all of a sudden you've got 30 hours a week to spend on advertising, that means you don't have 30 hours of chair making work, right? So you got to kind of infer, like, if you can do this, what does that mean you can't do? And you might be able to pick up, like, wait a second, that's an employee. Oh, they're doing even better. So you have to look and read between the lines, I would say, to really see what's going on with the competitor. And, I analyze a lot. I don't want to call any businesses out, but let's say there's a snow day, there's a holiday, there's all these things, and like, you chose to be closed, and that's where I see a business like we talked about earlier in the stream of, like that, like the cutting the corners person, like at work, like, we need a volunteer to go home, and the fastest hand up, right? And that's the thing is like, I see you're closed Christmas Eve, not even a half day, huh? Okay, I mean, I guess. Or, you're closed every Sunday and Monday. Like, oof, must be good times over there to be closed 2 days a week in a retail store, right? And then just when you see every, chance to close instead of be open, and I look at that every time I see that. So when I see competitor close on Christmas Eve and we're open for a half day, I'm open on a half day because there's a lot of people that want to pick up the gift right before because it's hard to hide a live fish or an aquarium or anything like that, right? So I know that all that income that comes in, that's one more step we're getting ahead of our competitor. And it is a vicious cycle, though, of I'm always trying to be ahead. Eventually, if you always try and be ahead, you will actually be ahead, and it will allow you to do things to stay ahead, right? And so, like at this point, for us, like, to be open Christmas Eve, right? We can rotate it between a lot of employees. Like, yeah, it's a lower day, so like there's not as many people coming through. We might put 2 out of 6 people on the crew in the store, right? And so each year, Christmas Eve, we kind of rotate. And there's some people that are like, hey, I want the work. Because it's a paid holiday on Christmas and all of that. Like, I want the extra hours, so that works out really nice. And then like the warehouse, if we don't, so many people are ordering that work is actually worse coming back the day after Christmas and be like, oh my gosh, we're never going to dig out of this. So I just think that keeping an eye, but don't let it distract you, right? So that whole growing the business thing, you see out of the 112 hours I have, only 2 hours is dedicated to growing my business and seeing what my competitors are up to. There are people that they obsess about what everyone else is doing and not getting anything done themselves. And that is more dangerous. Like, I'd rather not know what they're doing and get a lot done for me, because watching other people do things, unless they're the best you've ever seen, is a distraction. And they might lead you down the wrong path, where if you're critically analyzing your own data, you then will know, am I making right decisions? And we live in an age that has never existed before to the common business owner. We now can track more metrics than we ever have in the past. Stuff that was, stuff that was very important to big business long ago that we never had access to, we now have access to. And so many people don't spend time looking and seeing what the viewer or the buyer or whatever are actually doing. Instead, they just assume, well, money's coming in, it's working, right? But how does it work better? I think my business will work better if I do this. Instead, we have the analytics that it'll show you. If you learn how to read analytics, you could try something outlandish. If it's working, you'll see it in the analytics. If it's not, you'll see it in the analytics. But usually, you can look into a product and go, this is my number 1 sold product. On average, I sell out every week. The easiest gain is to make sure we don't sell out, right? And you can even now forecast how much more money would you have made had you not sold out. So not even is it, I know I'm losing money, but now it'll tell you how much money you will lose. It will also tell you how many more of those widgets should you have ordered for Black Friday week, right? And Christmas week and that kind of stuff. And so without, if we don't focus on our own stuff and we're spending too much time watching others, they're selling 1 billion widget Bs. I should start selling widget B. Meanwhile, you don't have enough widget A, and for sure widget A sells. You don't know for sure widget B will sell in your business. That's the thing. So you got to be careful there. All right, I'm going to chime in on some chat a bit. Thank you guys for going through that kind of brutal business analysis. And it comes down to, you got to focus or you're going to get buried. That's no doubt. I could run 15 different businesses right now into the ground. Easily. I could easily just go, I'm going to do all these things terribly. It's very hard to remain committed to one thing because it's already working. You feel successful. You're like, this thing's working. I could do another thing that works. But that's exactly the thing that starts the first thing not working, right? So, all right. Being in sync with your life partner while strategically scaling a business can be a challenge? No doubt. There's definitely been trials and tribulations through the years of, basically to make things work, you have to prioritize. And oftentimes the priority would be the business. And that was much, much more difficult when the business was making a feeble income. I think the second year I was in business, so we went the first year, the second year in business, my take-home pay was $14,000. $14,500. And so it's really hard to justify to a significant other, like, no, this is going to work. It's important, because you don't know. You think it's going to work, but no one knows, right? And so you're justifying never being at home, not having enough time, being overworked, being grouchy, and it's very difficult on the other person. It's difficult on you. You're stressed out. You're overworking. It's also difficult on the other person, and we're fortunate that it worked out and that I made some decisions that were good, and now I'm to this day, I'm actively working on how do I get more time back? Because the ultimate goal for me, my game plan was work as hard as humanly possible from 30 to 40, and then from there I could retire. I am on that path. I've got 3 more years of it. I'm working as hard as possible, and now we're getting towards the last third of it, so I can back off some of it. So maybe I'm not working as hard as humanly possible. Now I'm starting to get that transition, so it's not just a, as hard as I can off a cliff. It's more like, okay, start tapering down a bit, taper down. And if I can do that successfully, that's going to work. Because I don't believe I can run the company this hard and then just walk away at age 40, be like, it's my birthday, sayonara. I think instead I have to find the happy balance of like, okay, I'm putting in 20-ish hours or 30-ish hours, something manageable. And I don't think I'll ever retire because I would get bored. But I want to be able to, I'm going to take 3 months off. I want to travel the world. I'm going to work on this other passion project right now instead of, oh, this thing's broken at the warehouse. How do we fix it? This thing's going wrong at the store. How do we fix it? In 3 years, we'll have enough people in place that those types of things shouldn't be on my plate anymore of like, well, I don't know what plumber we're going to call for the plugged up toilet. Like, just do it. Like, right? Have it self-manage. All right. Let's see. There's a super chat. My voice is starting to go again. How did I decide to go full-time on YouTube? Did money or ambition or goals push the move? I never went full-time on YouTube. That's the thing people don't realize. I've only ever been full-time with my business. And you might be like, well, it's important, right? Well, sure. But it's no different. Like 100%, if everything else was to melt away, I've got a retail store and an online store, and that's what matters. YouTube is advertising, right? So it's no different. Like, when did you decide to go full-time spending money on Facebook ads? You could read the question the same way. I've never gone full-time on YouTube. Never. Because my income from YouTube has always been put back into business and other stuff. So the money from YouTube has never been, oh, I need to pay my mortgage. I need to do these things. And we're at a point where our main YouTube channel makes over $20,000 a month, right? But you saw how many people are working on the YouTube channel. We got to pay those salaries. When we travel the world, we got to buy those plane tickets. We got to buy those hotels. We got to buy supplies. We got to buy and build camera equipment and a new studio and all of that. So, the full-time on YouTube, I'm still not full-time on YouTube. If I was full-time on YouTube, I would spend more than the 20-ish hours a week that I do on creative and that kind of stuff, right? I would be spending the 112 hours. And we kind of saw that, we've split up my time and the bulk majority is at the top of the funnel. A lot of people might put YouTube as the top of their funnel, and that's fine, but I don't have that insight on when is it safe. I've helped some other people do it. Most times when I'm coaching other people to do that, it has to be minimum double their current income. So if you make $5,000 a month, you'd have to bring in $10,000 a month from YouTube, because then that will withstand some of the volatility in advertiser rates, right? And then you're going to pay 25% of that in taxes, basically, because now when you have a job somewhere else, usually the employer's paying some of your taxes, and you might be getting health insurance and some of those other things. The minute you become like, I'm just a YouTuber full time, you're responsible for your own health insurance. You've got your own taxes you have to pay. You're running a company, so now you're paying the employer and the employee shares of it, all of that. And so did money or ambition lead me to push forward? I would say mostly I just think it could be done better. That's what leads me to work more on it. I still think, like, I know that if I'm spending 20 hours and Aquarium Co-op is here in YouTube, if we spent 100 hours, we'd be here. We'd be way ahead. I know we could take it so much further. And so I continually try to make incremental improvements. Like, we might buy more cameras. We might try new ideas, like the green screen. I went 5 years without ever using a green screen. Now we've incorporated it. We haven't replaced stuff, but where does it make sense to use this green screen a little bit? That's the question, is how do we make that a little bit better and not, radically change? And there's, I try out different microphones. I try out different cameras. I try different formats. All of those things, if I was dedicating more time, I would learn all of that faster. And so I feel like I'm in the upper ranks of learning about YouTube and that kind of stuff because I think I have a brain that leads me towards it a bit. But I'm nowhere near in the league of someone who could dedicate their full work weeks, week after week after week, to it, because that's just not the position I'm in. The reality is I have to run the companies that we run, and if that was all outsourced to like a manager or a talent agency or something like that, and I just had to go, all right, today I got to think of a video, tomorrow I got to film it, and the next day someone will edit it and all of that, and I'm back to thinking about a video again. If it was that is a different path than what I've been on. So I hesitate to speak on that because, you know, what you might think happens might be different. But from talking to people, most people I don't get to talk to that have actually made it. You know, they're so busy. That's the thing, is they're so busy with, they got good social media and they spun off all these companies and all this stuff going on. They don't have time to go, well, let me just talk about my success. That's a waste of time to them. So the people that have time to talk are usually, they need help. They're not doing well. They're only putting those less than 20 hours in. All of a sudden, I got all the time in the world to talk. I rarely have time just to sit down and talk. And in fact, you know, some of the reviews I've done for people, they have to wait weeks. I was like, well, let me find a gap, you know, and let me find, and so actually on my schedule, one of my planning things is to plan when I can make time to review brand ambassador work and that kind of stuff. So that is part of my thing I've left out. And I'm like, okay, I need to figure out, how do I review work that's being done, help others, that kind of stuff. And yeah. All right. What do I think of Father's Fish Store closing? It seems sad to watch a lifetime of work end. I don't know. I don't really know enough about his business model or anything, other than when I would see him hop into my live streams, he'd just be like, you're doing it wrong. Nope, I don't agree with that at all. Nope, I would never do that. Like, cool, you know? When I would look into his stuff, I'd be like, if I was analyzing his competitor, I was like, that's the definition of what not to do right there. You know? His business model overall, if we're talking a pure business model, let me teach everyone how to not spend money. You don't stay in business very long when you're like, let me prevent people from spending money at my business. Like, it won't pay the bills. So you have to find a happy balance. I try to do that by going, spend all your money with me, but if you don't have the money, or this other option makes a better sense, I'm still going to present it to you, right? And I know that people will trust in my abilities and just the information I make and all of that to do a fair thing. And that means that I have to meet it with, you should buy my aquarium product. But if you weren't going to buy my aquarium product, here is the next best also, or the DIY solution of it, or whatever it's going to be. Yeah, and I don't know his situation. I don't know, you know, I've done stuff like that in the past. Like, a lot of stores are paying way too much in rent, right? And they might have bloated staff, and they, you know, like, I run 1,000 square foot store. That's smaller than most people's homes. And we run a retail store that, you know, last year did over $1 million out of 1,000 square feet, right? And the $1 million part, that's not the important part, because you can do $1 million in revenue and it costs you $1.2 million to do it. So how profitable are you? How much, you know, how well are employees getting taken care of? Do you have a lot of business models? It's like, yeah, the employee will stay for 8 months. We'll keep hiring new high school kids. That never really develops. You can think about that in the YouTube scene. If I had to hire a new editor every 8 months, how would I actually make my videos better, right? Same in your business. And so you got to figure out a lot of these things. And so, you know, what do I make of it? The reality is, statistics probably show that most small businesses don't make it, and they don't learn the skill set. There are bad breaks where it's like, oh, that was real unfortunate. You know, that thing happened. A landlord forced him out, whatever that is, right? I'm always sad to see someone, you know, lose. It's no different than watching a family member like, oh, you lost your job? That sucks. It's horrible. You know, losing a lifetime of work. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure it's losing it though. Like, and don't get me wrong, if it accidentally burned down, that's a different thing than, you know, like, oh, well, it's just kind of continually been declining for the last 8 years. Like, you can do something about that, you know? And people get real weird when you talk about that. Like, no, he was doing everything right. Like, okay, let's boil it down. Let's boil it down here. Let's go back to basics. You have a business and you're mowing lawns. You have 5 clients. All right, next year you're down to 4 clients. All right, next year down to 3 clients. We all know, shouldn't you have tried to find other clients, right? Oh, but there's another person that is, mowing lawns and he'll do it for $10 less. Well, you either need to figure out how to beat that price, or maybe you need to start cleaning gutters. So the customers you do have, I have 3 clients. I mow their lawns. Now I clean their gutters twice a year. All right, now that gets back up to like 4.5 type of clients, right? Start adding services. Oh, I pick up dog poop. Oh, I empty cat litter boxes. Oh, I do recycling. I do dump runs. I do. And so a lot of people get real passionate about the thing that works for me is no longer working. I'm just going to keep doing it though, right? Do we feel bad when someone goes, I've made my money and my living the last 30 years with a VHS player, right? Or let's say a DVD player. Like, I make DVD players and I sell DVD players, and now we just stream stuff. Do we feel bad about that, or do we realize that they didn't keep up? Maybe they should have found a way to transition into some kind of streaming. And that's my thing, is usually the people that are being affected by something are the most clued in, right? So if you're a Blockbuster and you've got all the data in the world, because you're going, how often do people come rent a movie? How much are they paying? What other things are going on? You've got all these analytics, and then you're watching them drop. Naturally, you should go, why are they dropping? You should start doing research. And you could be saying, well, maybe a company of like 10,000 employees, no one had ever heard the term Netflix or whatever, right? And then, they never pivoted. So they go out of business. Now, do we feel bad about that? Sure. Lots of people lost their jobs. That's not a good thing. But maybe they tried something else. They got into the game late, tried their own streaming service. Maybe they should have doubled down on renting video games. I don't know what it was, because I don't have their analytics and I don't know what to try. But a lot of times you'll watch them just going like, they just put their head in the sand, horse blinders on, and just go, yep, it'll be okay. We just got to weather through it, so it'll be okay. And most times it's not. If you're not focusing on everything and you can't see the trend early enough, a lot of times that'll happen. You'll blame something like economic downturn. You'll blame, like right now you could blame COVID. Like, well, not a lot of movies are coming out, and therefore this is bad. Like, the biggest thing for me right now, this is the biggest thing for me. If you're AMC theater, whatever movie theater you are right now, and you're going, I can't get enough revenue to come in, right? And you're not showing drive-in movies on the side of your building or in your parking lot, you're messing up. You need to keep the habit. Keep the habit, right? So, like my wife and I, we went to a free drive-in movie. We got to bring our own snacks and everything. It was a great time. We watched The Princess Bride. Great movie. We all seen it a million times. But in this COVID time, getting out and sitting in your car was a treat, right? We're so excited to maybe get to do it again someday. It was great. It was raining a little bit. It was fine. Like, it was great. Now, we used to do that where we would go to the movie theater, maybe it's once a month. We'll see a movie just to get the buttery popcorn, and maybe we went to dinner beforehand, like just to do it, just the routine to break up the monotony of my work week, right? And spend some time together. Now, why isn't every theater doing that? I get it. You can't go inside. I get it. You can only do X amount of capacity, but you're paying the retail space, right? So you're going, oh, we got 10 grand a month in retail fees because we got to pay for our movie theater. And you've got some employees that have been on retainer, like there's still some employees. And you might go, well, it takes 5 people and it doesn't make sense to do it in the middle of the day because you can't see the movie. But what if we project it onto a screen on the side of the building or paint the side of the building white, whatever we're going to do, right? And then we, like our drive-in theater, it was like max of like 30 cars, but it was amazing, right? And because it was a small parking lot. Maybe you can do 100 cars at a time, right? And you sell them for $20 a car, right? And then maybe you get smart and you're like, hey, we've got these like snack packs you can buy for another 10, 20 bucks, whatever. I don't care what you do, right? But you let people bring their food, whatever. That's not even the important part. None of this is the important part. That's what people don't realize. Like, oh, but you make 20 bucks per ticket. That's going to be $2,000. The employees are going to cost $1,500. All that doesn't matter. What matters right now to that company is that we're not staying home and watching Netflix and forgetting what it was like to even ever go out and go to a movie theater. They're becoming obsolete because every week that goes by, more of us are going to buy that big screen TV. More of us are going to buy that sound system. More of us are going to learn to pop our own popcorn at home. More of us are going to get a snack box that gets delivered once a month. Or we're going to buy into the movie experience. There's that dumb stuff. We're going to learn that, you know what, Amazon video isn't so bad. Netflix video isn't so bad. Oh, more new releases. I could watch the new release. Oh, it's $12. Wow, look how much money we're saving. It's $12. All my kids, my wife, my neighbor, everyone watched it. We're all learning that experience because they're not doing that. Even if it wasn't profitable, they're losing their share right now. And so that kind of stuff, do I feel bad for movie theaters? Did they get dealt a bad hand with COVID? Yeah, a lot of businesses did. No one foresaw it. No one thought, yep, that's going to be a thing. Our business, I was always planning for what about the next big event? We have a fire, we have an economic downturn, whatever it's going to be, there's going to be a huge, significant financial strain. We build our business around that. So we've done okay during COVID, luckily. I say luckily because no one saw that coming, right? But you have these businesses that are just floundering like movie theaters. And from my viewpoint, they're doing nothing to have a chance long term. Like, I get it. You know, you built a business model one way. You still have outgoing funds to this day. Anything coming in would be helpful, but mostly making sure people don't forget to go to the Blockbuster. You know, you don't want people to forget dining, right? Like, oh, like I've really fallen in love with, I only ever want to order food from an app now. It's like, oh, I'm going to have a sandwich and I'm leaving the gym. I order the sandwich so it's ready when I get there. It used to be I'd roll up, walk in, be with the person, order it. You know, but now it's now who makes it the easiest for me. That's really what it comes down to. And I've met so many people like that where their view is changing on stuff like this. And so we have to adapt, right? We have to adapt. If you're just asleep at the wheel and you're not finding ways, and you got to think ahead. That's that part of business growing. Like, even if my business is down, I got to figure out how we're going to push through this. That business growing every week, there's a couple hours, like, what do we got to do here? This is not good. This is really not good right now, right? You got to figure it out. All right. Yeah. Trying to think if I got anything else to rant on, or I should just call it. That was a doozy. Because I'm so passionate about watching businesses fail, and I've always got so many ideas. I know that 9 out of 10 won't work, but to watch someone do none of them is what really agitates me. Of like, you're not even trying to not lose at this point. I could at least lose while trying, you know, like, to give up. When did our retail store first open its doors? It was in 2013, I believe in April. We had run out of money. We had to open early, and luckily we were profitable every month we've ever been open, except there was like 2 in a summer one time where it was so brutal. We actually lost money being open. But from the beginning, I knew kind of what to buy. I'd run a store and had a little bit of, you know, local club and people willing to support me. And I keep my overhead crazy low. That's one of the biggest things in business I do is, how do we not spend money? You know, that's the reality, is how do I not spend money in every facet, from a $5 shirt to my retail store only costs less than $1,100 a month in rent, right? And most business owners of other fish stores are like, wow, you're paying $6,000. I know one that's my competitor pays $24,000 a month rent. That's a lot of stuff you got to sell just to break even with me not selling anything, right? So $24,000 in rent, that's more than our warehouse. Like, and I get it. Location is everything. There are some things, but it makes everything exponentially harder. So I try to keep expenses as low as possible. Now that doesn't mean I don't spend money on things. There's so many people like, I never spend money on things that are recurring. Like you have to spend money to make money, but you have to do it intelligently and know that like, okay, I could spend $5,000 a month on rent, or I could spend $1,000. If I spend $5,000, I'll get a 2% boost in revenue. Okay, well, a 2%, that means to make up $4,000, if I made $100,000 in that business per month, that's only $2,000. So wait, I got to do an extra $250,000 every month to offset that. And actually it's more, because let's say you have a profit margin of 50%, you'd have to do $500,000 a month, right? That would give you that extra $4,000 in profit. Is that right? 10% of 500, that 50,000, and then 10% that's 10. I think that's true. It's close enough to know that I know that my Carl at math got me there. All right. Uh-oh, we're sending someone $20. Do I have any plans to start breeding fish for my new room to supply the fish store? Yeah, I'm going to breed fish mostly for content purposes. And so that would be, you know, I get content out of it. I get personal enjoyment out of it. Selling at my store, that's an added benefit, right? For sure. And then my overall plan, I think if I'm successful with my fish farm, I will be able to produce more fish than my store could sell. And then I would maybe sell it to like Aquahuna, and then therefore anyone in the country could buy them. That being said, I will be setting it up so that I just give them the fish, like I sell them the fish or whatever, and that happens, and not like, when is more going to be ready, Corey? Because I don't have time to, like, I don't breed fish to supply, you know, 10 people with a timeline and all of that. You know, I'm doing it, the purpose is my personal enjoyment and YouTube first. Then it's my store. Then it would be selling them wholesale and other people getting to buy them. So if all of a sudden I'm like, well, when are you gonna have more of this ready to sell to Aquahuna to be able to be sold to us? I won't have time for that part of the business. That's purely like, and then we sell that off at the garage sale type of mentality, not the first and second money, which there's a very good, let me see if I can find it real quick. I like this video quite a bit. What is this channel? Alpha Gaming. If I can spell it right. Here we go. So it's this video right here. My passive income, how he makes $150,000 per month, right? This guy talks a lot about first money, second money, third money, and if you've never heard that concept, which I hadn't before, YouTube is his first money. So what does that mean? That means, like with Aquarium Co-op, we make $20,000 through YouTube, right? We take that money and we now invest it in employees, in equipment, in things, and it also will fund other projects. So maybe that funds our forum or our Facebook or a new product launch or new content, and the YouTube channel. So it gets put back in there. So that's the first time money is spent. But the goal would be, let's say, you know, this is probably a better example. We make our money at the beginning and we're making $2,000 or $3,000 a month. We've got Jimmy editing, we've got camera equipment, and then we're like, okay, we got those, and we've got $1,000 left. We take that $1,000 and we develop Easy Carbon, and we got to pay for labels, and we got to pay a designer, and we got to do the bottles and all that kind of stuff, right? The second money comes when we finally sell the bottles of Easy Carbon. Now we've got second money. Second money then started building out the online store, right? So now we got the online store going, and now it's paying for the warehouse and other employees, things like that. So now we're at third money. Now eventually that's gonna make money, and that money then basically ends up buying my house and the YouTube studio and stuff like that. So too often people will take that first money, you know, and if I took that $20,000, which it would have never gotten to $20,000 had I not invested early back into it. But if I just take that $20,000 out and I go, I just make $20,000 a month, right? then it never grows. And eventually, once YouTube shifts and I don't follow it, I go the way of the Blockbuster or the movie theaters, my income just disappears. But if YouTube left me, right, and I was gone tomorrow, I would be left with a retail store and an online business, a Facebook page with 300,000+ people, and an Instagram with, closing on 100,000. I wouldn't be left with nothing because I've invested. And yes, have we paid for advertisement on Facebook and Instagram and all that kind of stuff before? Do we pay for employees to help us there? You can look at it a million ways. I could spend $50,000 in Facebook ads, or I can put it towards employee salaries to help me make content for that, right? And so that's a concept of reinvesting money in yourself, and what you're doing is it delays your gratification, right? It makes you wear a $5 shirt, but instead of wearing a $20 shirt, that $15 went and bought some product that could get sold. And then that product that got sold gets an employee, which buys me time, which eventually will get to a point where, I get to wear the $20 shirt. Have I read the book Traction? I have not. I have read not that many books. I mean, I do read books, but I never find enough time to read enough of them, and I have not read that one. So will I go TikTok? Never. Never will I go TikTok. I can't say never, but at this point, for me to adopt another platform is nearly unheard of. I don't have the time. So it would have to be vastly out-competing places I'm already doing well, right? It would be no different than me having a pet store and going, I'm opening up a car dealership. Why? Car dealerships make more money. But you don't know anything about car dealerships. But car dealerships make more money. That's how I view going to a platform of like, well, I have spent 5 years of my life studying YouTube. I'm going to hop to a platform I know nothing about and hope for the best. No different than me starting a car dealership. I know nothing about them. I would not do it. What's the best way to promote your website through YouTube videos? I hate feeling like I'm trying to sell them stuff when they're enjoying a video. My advice is, I have always told my viewership, like, I'm here to advertise. And there are always people like, this is an infomercial. Like, yes, that's why I'm here. I only do that. So I think, one, not caring. Two, being upfront, right? Every business has to make money. And the reality is, people like to believe that, oh, you're just doing this for fun, blah, blah, blah. If you're doing it for fun, it would be your passion project. If it's not your passion project, it's not. And you got to let people know, like, this is my job. And so I think part of it is they don't want people that are like, all you do is talk about business, because maybe some people don't want to hear that, right? But you should be able to find ways like link to it in your description, show stuff at your business in a meaningful way, right? Like, if you analyze our channel, we've shown our operations of like the warehouse and our store like once every like 3 months, 3 to 6 months. That's not every video. I don't spend every video you'll see like, oh, there's a little aquarium co-op thing down there, but it's not a hard call to action. I do live streams, but even then I only do them every other week, right? And then I'm usually, in a very passive way, I say, hey, buy my crap, and not spend too long. I mean, if there's information, like if I want to talk about the features of this product, or you ask me a question like, how do you use a sponge filter? Well, let me tell you about the one we developed. That is all leading to a website and sales and things like that, without it being just infomercials. Now, we do infomercials also, but we put them on the second channel, and we've done that purely to people that want to listen to the infomercials, right? We also put other content there, but that's where we're going to put it, so that if you don't want that, you have to seek it out. We also make the videos for the website, all of that kind of stuff. And I think mostly it just has to be authentic. If you're authentic about your needs, there's always going to be people that, want to take and give nothing back. There's always going to be that. But most people want to reciprocate. If I entertain someone for 100 hours a month, they might want to reciprocate by spending $5. There'll be some that'll be like, I would never, it's free, I would never do that. Great, you're not making the videos for them anyway, right? If someone says, I will never eat pizza because I'm allergic to it, You're not running a pizza restaurant to please them, right? Just like here, like YouTube. Yes, it's a great free resource. People can choose to watch whoever they want. If they don't want to see about your business, there's literally 10,000 other aquarium-related channels out there for them to watch. They'll find someone. They weren't meant to be your customer. They're allergic to pizza, right? So don't focus on that. But also, you know, if someone's trying to enjoy the pizza at the restaurant, don't be right there like, hey, next week, you got to try the one with onions. And then the week after that, the one with pineapple. And then did you know you can also order through our app? And also we have a coupon list. And also we have dessert. Are you ready for dessert yet? How's that Coke doing? You want to get an orange crust or only $2.99? Like, you can't also hound them to death. But most people are willing to entertain a moderate amount of advertising, knowing that it's an even exchange of like, look, I'm going to go into your business. I'm going to see prices. I'm going to give you some money. I might see like, oh, on the receipt here, it says, try our pepperoni and pineapple pizza next time you're in. Like, they know there's going to be some of that. It's when you cross the threshold of what people expect when you have a problem. So I try to let people know, like, I'm a business. This is what I do. We advertise. We're here in my business. You're seeing an unboxing at my business. You're seeing these things at my business. I am a business. And therefore, their expectations are more prepared for that than I only never talk about any of that stuff. And then when you do talk about it, oh, you've sold out. You're doing this. Like right now, you can see aquariumcoop.com right in the back. I don't think I've seen a single person in this live stream complain about that yet. I'm sure someone's like, oh, look at that guy, always shilling his stuff. But for the most part, it's a passive sell. And the people that are ready to connect with your business will know how to do it. And that's really what you're trying to accomplish is when someone's ready to make that exchange of their time or money or whatever it is for your time or money, you want to make sure they can find it. Is it in the description? Is it in some of the videos? Is it in a lower third card? Is it a little thing in your social media profile? As long as when they're ready, they can find it. And sometimes you got to talk about it a little bit. Hey, we're doing a thing, right? We're doing a promotion. We're doing this. We're doing that. Those are all things that need to be done to stay afloat as a business, but you just don't want to cross the threshold of what people think. And we do that all the time. You know, if you're going to put an ad in your video of like, hey, you need to buy these aquascaping scissors, right? Maybe you don't put 10 YouTube ads in your video. Like maybe you don't hit them with those 10 ads and then this ad and then talk about another product and another product and another product and another product and another product. Maybe you limit it to like, hey, we're talking about this. Or maybe a couple, if like someone was asking about this, I happen to have it on my desk. Let me talk about it, right? All right. 2 o'clock. I've been talking for over 2 hours, which means no one else will watch this because it's gone too long. People will go like 2 hours on a business. I ain't got time for that. And that's probably true because business people really don't have time for that. But maybe they have time for it in podcast form, which I don't put out as a podcast, but you can listen to it anyway. Yeah. Very good comment. TikTok would probably dilute that stockpile of available effort. Better to upload the same shorts to TikTok instead of making additional. There's definitely that avenue, but even that takes time. Taking time to like, I'm just copying content over is another step that's keeping you from making new content or analyzing the content you make. Or, you know, you can get caught in a trap like this went viral. Like I have videos that went viral on Instagram that do terrible on YouTube. But you're trying to recreate it. Like, I know it went viral. Like we could do more of that. And it just will not take off on YouTube. Why not? Different platforms, different things. People are looking for different expectations. People on YouTube want something longer. TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, shorter, no volume, things like that. And so, but our brain just goes, success, I should do more of that. Even though you're having success here, you see that one of success, that lottery ticket, and you can't help but, I could do more than that. I did that. That was me. I could do that. All right, I'm out. I should spend some time not ranting. I can feel my blood pressure has risen. I'm starting to sweat. And I can only get in more trouble from this point on. So thanks for hanging out. Maybe I'll do this again on maybe a different Sunday or a weekend day. I don't know. It's 2 weeks in a row, which that's usually about the time I will drop off and not see you guys for a year. So hopefully you got a fix for now. And yeah, we'll talk to you later. If I can find the button.